Hey everyone, it's Riley here. So today marks 5 years on testosterone. I honestly can't believe it. Things have went by so fast, so much has happened. And I'm gonna just do a recap of pictures, videos, and stuff to kind of show you guys the changes and the experiences that I have gone through. So I'm just gonna insert them here and I'll be back with you again shortly.
I got my first t-shot.
So this is my 6-month update for you guys on testosterone. So this is now my 1 year on testosterone video for you guys. I am officially 2 years and 3 months on testosterone. I am 4 years on testosterone. 4 years. Alright guys, so there was my collage of videos for you. Just to also recap, basically I came out about seven-ish years ago, and then the hormones and like most of my transition stuff started about 5 years ago, but I changed my name and gender marker a little bit before that as well. But in the last 5 years, I had started on hormones, had top surgery, ended up getting a hysterectomy, moved to another province, as well as, started my process for phalloplasty, all these amazing changes, and as well as little ones in between that, just like from subtle job changes to meeting new friends and, going to Banff, just life changes in itself. I've had so many things happen and I'm absolutely grateful for all of that. So thank you guys for sticking around and, watching my journey through all of this. But as well, I do have some questions you guys had asked, so I'm going to get right down to those questions as well. First question here is, have you noticed any big changes from your 1 year to now? The biggest thing that I noticed, and I kind of talked a little bit about this, was my voice has kind of changed even after my 1 year to now, which I didn't honestly expect. I am trying to be able to project it a little bit more on the masculine side, as I've kind of made some videos about this, but not liking my voice so much. So I am, starting the process of being able to go through vocal therapy and stuff like that. So, yeah. Other than that, the biggest changes I've noticed from 1 year to now, I would say, is my facial hair. That is the biggest change I've noticed. I'll get a little bit closer to the camera here, but I noticed here it actually has been filling in on my cheeks a little bit more, on both sides actually. And like there's still a little bit of patchiness, but overall, like that is the biggest thing I noticed, because my facial hair probably didn't start to come in until around like 2 years-ish, or just thereafter. Another, I think, big change I would say after 1 year is body hair and fat distribution. I can't say I noticed it a lot, but I definitely noticed it throughout videos and pictures and stuff. Those are the changes I would say, even after my 1 year, that I still continue to notice, even as the months go by now. So yeah, that pretty much I hopefully answers your question there. Number two would be, what's been the hardest part of transitioning? For me, I think the two hardest parts, family and acceptance, because not all my family is 100% accepting. I still have some family that are not 100% on board, which does suck. And, having certain people not be 100% accepting is hard, but, I just kind of push through it, and I still talk to those family members. They're still part of my life, but, it's never easy. And then the second thing would be the long process. For me, like, I'm 5 years in, and maybe this isn't long to some people, but I started my phalloplasty journey actually about 2 years ago, maybe a little bit more, when I was in Ontario. And by the time I actually decided on moving, basically I had just got accepted, and it was not really worth the wait for me. So now I had to restart when I came here, which I've talked about as well. So, restarting the process of phalloplasty here, and then having to wait another year before starting this, the process of transitioning is not, easy. Everybody is different. For me, the things I had to go through is not going to be the same as what you had to go through, but that would say it would be the two hardest things is, not I would say 100% accepting family, and two is just the long processes, or some of the long processes you have to go through with when it comes to transitioning. So next question would be number three. After 5 years, do you still experience or notice any changes? I would say yes, but also the biggest thing I can say here is after probably I'm going to say 3 years, the changes that I notice, like I said, it's going to be my facial hair. I don't really notice my voice as much when it comes to changes. But the biggest thing for me is, like, as time goes on, I don't pay attention to the changes as much. I don't look for the changes. I don't, listen for those changes. So it kind of just seems to die down a little bit, or that I feel like you hit a trough of where, you don't notice the changes for a while, and then you notice them again. The first 2 to maybe 3 years, I would say, were the biggest changes, especially in the first 2 years was the most. And then the last 3 years, I haven't really noticed too much when it comes to changes, but I still do notice changes. It's just not as often or as much as I used to. So hopefully that answers that question there. Number 4 was, do you ever feel like you stopped seeing the changes? So kind of tying into this, and yes and no. So like I just said, it's kind of like you kind of stop seeing them for a while, but I still notice them every now and then. Like my facial hair, is the biggest thing that I'm noticing. My voice, I'm trying to, like, again, is focus on that and change that. So that I'm noticing a little bit more. And, when it comes to, like, my body structure, those things, like, I don't really notice too much. So kind of like what I already said is, like, you kind of hit a trough where those changes stop, but then you might see a burst of changes, or, you might see subtle changes, just not as often. So kind of tying into that last question there. And number 5 here, do you ever think you'd make it this far, especially when looking back at when you were pre-T? Honestly, no. The biggest thing, I was expecting was, like, to get facial hair, voice drop, and all that within the first 6 months to a year. And then when I hit my 1 year, to not see those changes as quick as I was hoping, I honestly never thought I would be standing here, full beard, kind of at least somewhat a deeper voice, and be this far into my transition. And at some points maybe I thought I'd be further, but to be where I am today and look back at my 1 year, it just seemed like those changes that I was seeing were slow. It seemed like 5 years from now it was going to be such a long reach and such a far time away, and now looking back, it feels like just yesterday that I started this whole journey. So yeah, to put it into perspective, I did not think I was going to get this far, for a few reasons, but as well as just to, like, how quick everything went by. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing, and definitely did not expect to be here 5 years on T. So last question for you guys was, when did you first notice your voice changes? For me, the first time I would say I noticed was probably close to 6 months, maybe closer to the 9-month mark, if I remember correctly. Like, I noticed some small changes by 6 months, but my 9-month mark was where I definitely 100% noticed it. And even going into my 1 year, it was 100%, but I would say I noticed it within this first 6 months, it was just very, very minor, and it still sound very similar to like the first, in the 6 months. But after my 6 months, for me, it was definitely a bigger change. So if I had to pick, I would say between the 6 and 9 month mark was when I definitely 100% noticed it. But yeah, that's pretty much, I think, all the questions you guys had for me. If you guys have any more, you can always put them in the comments below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll be doing another one again soon. Bye for now.